Welcome back to Saving the Republic with Joe Staten, presented by Grab Your Gear Network, where we speak to merit shop workers, trade workers, and frankly, anybody who works hard. So if you're a hard worker, this network and this show is for you. Here on Saving the Republic, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we break down the most important news stories that the mainstream news is probably not talking to you guys about. So if you want to hear the most important news, this is the place for you. Now, with all that being said, let's get into today's news. First story. I've been hearing for a long time about a big October surprise coming for Tim Walz. I follow a guy, Mike Cernovich, on Twitter. Highly recommend following Cernovich for all of your news and political commentary needs. But he's been saying, look, all the stuff on Walz, the stolen valor, the tampon Tim comments, just wait till you see what's really coming. And today I think we might have seen the first domino to fall with what Cernovich might have been referring to, which is direct ties, reportedly. Congress is investigating ties between the Chinese Communist Party and Tim Walz. Now, I don't want to just get on this bandwagon immediately without evidence and act like the Democrats do with Russia with Trump, and tying literally anything and everything under the sun that the Democrats disagree with to Russia. I mean, now we have Hillary Clinton. You guys know. She's calling for the jailing of people who spread, quote, Russian disinformation. And honestly, the problem with not explaining these things, which I'm going to do about Tim Walz, is that you end up having people who run with this and say, okay, anything I disagree with is Russian disinformation, right? You could have somebody presents information that says life begins at conception. Oh, that's Russian disinformation. That's just one example. So let's go ahead and take a look at the facts in the situation and check this out here from Kyle Becker on Twitter. Breaking news: whistleblower informs Government Oversight Committee about U.S. intelligence uncovering verified links between the CCP and vice presidential candidate Tim Walz. So, the Committee on Oversight and Accountability here sent a letter to Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And in this letter, what they said is, I went ahead and read through this. Right here in the second paragraph, the committee has recently received whistleblower disclosures informing the committee of serious concern among the Department of Homeland Security personnel regarding a long-standing connection between the Chinese Communist Party and Minnesota Governor Timothy James Walz. Specifically, through whistleblower disclosures, the committee has learned of a non-classified Microsoft Teams group chat among DHS employees titled NST Biweekly Sync that contains information about Governor Walz that is relevant to the committee's investigation. The committee has also learned that further relevant information regarding Governor Walz has been memorialized in both classified and unclassified documents in the control of DHS. The attached subpoena requires DHS to produce these documents and communications regarding Governor Walz's connections with the CCP. This subpoena is issued pursuant to rule blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the Committee on Oversight has evidence on hand from DHS that shows some concerning ties between Tim Walz and the CCP. Now, is this very surprising? To me, no, absolutely not. This is not surprising whatsoever. And I say that because Tim Walz and his ideas very closely align with many communist ideas. Okay? I'm not exaggerating. State control of resources, taking away individual liberties. Tim Walz saying we need to limit misinformation, limit free speech. Communist. No free speech. He wants to confiscate guns. This guy is radical. Pushing gender ideology, robbing us of the most basic truths of our existence. This is really what I don't understand about Democrats. And if you guys agree with me, let me know in the comment section down below. But we are denying the most fundamental truths in our existence, in our reality. Okay? And this is what I'm going to be getting into soon with an upcoming guest, Mark Rogers. Stay tuned for that. But we're going to be talking about how the most fundamental truths in our reality are no longer agreed upon. Okay, these are not controversial things. I'm talking about the fact that there are two biological sexes. I'm talking about the fact that murder is wrong. I'm talking about the fact that in order to be a nation, you have to be sovereign. You have to have borders. You have to have a culture, a cultural identity. What is so wrong with America having its own cultural identity. We have principles here in this country that we are proud of. We love our way of life. Come into many small communities in America and you'll see this. People love their lives. They love their communities. They love the way of life here. It's freedom, We get up, we go to work, we work hard here in the States. We come home, we're very family-oriented, generally speaking, community-oriented. There's things to do on the weekends. We have beautiful, open, safe communities for the most part here in the United States. And that culture is one initially founded upon biblical principles, Judeo-Christian principles, giving value to the image bearers of God, protecting their rights, ensuring that the government stands up for those rights, ensuring the government stands up for those liberties, and maintaining a culture that cultivates and produces citizens who are virtuous, okay? This is an idea that the Founding Fathers had over my shoulders here, is that liberty, true liberty, is not absolute freedom. It's not absolute libertarianism. It's not, degeneracy. It's not being able to do any drug you want. It's not being able to have copious amounts of sexual intercourse. That's not freedom, even though a lot of people think it's freedom. In the founders' eyes, liberty and freedom meant having enough structure in society, having enough government that was virtuous to ensure that citizens could grow up in a society that would cultivate virtue in them, that would raise them to be upright, that would, teach them and show them how to be men and women of value and leadership. This is what the founders thought liberty was, okay? And Tim Walz is pretty much on the opposite of that. This man is pushing ideas that want to tell your little boy and your little girl that there are not two genders, there are not two sexes. All these crazy things. It's just antithetical to what it means to be an American. Okay, this is what Tim Walz is pushing. So, to me, this is the tip of the iceberg. Again, I'm going to put the tweet back up on the screen here for you guys. Kyle Becker. This is the tip of the iceberg. James Comer is the chair of this committee. All right? Solid congressman. And we're going to be following this. We're going to stay posted on this. And by the way, this is pretty big news in light of tomorrow's vice presidential debate. You better believe that J.D. Vance is going to be bringing this up. Okay? And, man, I would really hold on to your breath for tomorrow because this VP debate is going to be something else. Okay? Tim Walz, in my opinion, is going to run into a buzzsaw. J.D. Vance is so sharp. Say what you want about J.D. Is he the most personable, charismatic, like Donald Trump? Probably not. But is he sharp as heck? Oh, yes, he is. This man is genius, okay? Extremely intelligent. So Tim Walz is in for a night tomorrow night. But we will keep following this story as it develops. Huge story there breaking on Tim Walz. The next story of today is going to be this hurricane, all right? I believe Hurricane Helen, I don't know how to pronounce it, Helene, is going on. And here we have Kamala Harris. Check this out. Looking at a piece of paper that's blank with her earbud in that's going to no phone. It's just a photo op, all right? It's fake. And she's not even on the ground. She's at a fundraiser in California. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, another fake and staged photo for someone who has no clue what she's doing. Donald Trump is on the ground in Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia, campaigning, also helping out with the recovery effort, making sure that he's basically showing face as a leader, because that's what you do as a leader. You show up, right? In the face of disaster, you are present. You are visible. That is what Donald Trump is doing. That's what a real leader does, and she is not doing it. And Joe Biden is definitely not doing it. Joe Biden is on the beach. The irony that he's on the beach after a hurricane. Can't make it up. So Donald Trump is showing real leadership, and this is continuing to show in the polls. He's at a 49% chance, slowly gaining on Polymarket. This flips every so often. Again, Pennsylvania is the tipping point, guys. Pennsylvania is the tipping point. And some very good polling data just came out for Donald Trump that I will show you, or not, I'm not going to show you, but go look it up. Atlas Intel Oh my goodness gracious. Trump is up in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Now, it did show him down in North Carolina, but nonetheless, the fact that any credible polls at this point in the race, 35 days away from the election, which is hard to believe that I'm saying that, is a very, very good sign for Donald Trump. Okay? Very good sign. Now, our next story. We've all seen the avalanche of hysteria surrounding misinformation. And, oh, it's so evil. Misinformation is so scary. We need to stop it. We need to hammer it out. As John Kerry said, we need to just totally stop misinformation. It's so scary. What's so scary about misinformation, guys? Can someone please explain this to me? Because last time I checked, first of all, speech is not violence. Speech is literally not violence, contrary to what the left wants to tell you. But secondly, what's the big deal about misinformation? I mean, of course, we don't want misinformation being permeated and upheld as truth. And we don't want that misinformation that's being upheld to be able to have a large impact on important things like elections, almost like what happened with the Hunter Biden laptop story, where all these intelligence officials put out misinformation that the story was fake. We don't want that to happen, right? But you know what? We live in a free country, and if somebody wants to say something that's not true, do you understand, as citizens, as Americans, please hear me out on this. And I know you guys probably agree with me, but we need to speak out against this. We need to fight strong and hard against this idiotic idea to me, okay, this misinformation thing. But do we not understand that people can say what they want? The best way for Americans to decipher what's true and what's not is by using your brain, is by using critical thinking and comparing. Okay? The mainstream media has lied to us so many times. They have put out misinformation. They have been the ones disseminating these lies about COVID, about the lockdowns, about the treatments. They put out so many lies about the election, about the Hunter Biden story. But you know what? As a person of principle, I will tell you, I don't agree with shutting down the opposition. Even if they want to put out lies, let them put them out with their massive platforms, because the best way to counter it, and that's exactly why the alternative media has risen, is because it is the counterpunch to the misinformation put out by big tech and by these legacy media corporations. Alternative media is the answer. It's citizen journalism. That's why Elon Musk bought X. That is the answer to misinformation. It's not shutting them down. I mean, these people, the audacity of John Kerry, the audacity of what we're going to watch here with Bill Gates. And I'll just leave it at that, and I'll play the video from Bill Gates, and we'll pick back up after the video plays. So check this out.
But if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines, where are those boundaries that even the U.S. Should, have rules? And then if you have rules...
No, bud, we're not going to have rules. That's what our forefathers fought for and died for and bled for, is so that people like you can't take away our right to speech. Period. So just stop. Stop trying to do this. And you said, for example, let's just play this again. This is just incredible.
We're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines, where are those boundaries?
If you're causing people not to take vaccines? What a bizarre statement from Bill Gates. What if you cause somebody not to take a vaccine? Is that going to be the end of the world, bro? How did humanity survive before vaccines were invented? Like, what are you saying? If you cause somebody not to take a vaccine, in some cases, that might be a good thing. How do we know? Everybody's just supposed to take a vaccine that they may not need and get myocarditis? Is that what's going to happen, bro? I mean, this is just incredible stuff coming from this man. He is so oblivious to how he comes off. He's so unaware. It's just putrid, condescending arrogance that's coming from this man's mouth. It's just incredible. He's so clearly a person, and this is not just Bill Gates, okay? Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Bill Gates, Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, they are people who desire to take away your civil liberties. All right? They don't care. They don't want you to have a voice. They despise your position. You know what Bill Gates really hates? You know what he despises? He despises the fact that people do not need his solutions. People have the truth. You know what the ultimate truth is? The gospel of Jesus Christ. The objective, eternal, unchanging truth in the Bible gives us freedom from anything, from any government, from any person, from any vaccine. We don't need any of this stuff. We don't need any of this stuff because you know what? We have the ultimate peace and freedom in Christ. We have freedom in our souls. Nobody can take away the eternal guarantee that we have, the eternal security. You can kill us, Christians. If we die, it's not over. Physical death, all right, man, I know where I'm going. I have peace. That's what they hate. They want you to be in fear. They want to control you. They want you to live this life, and they want to rob God's creation of its agency. They want to rob it of its ability to live freely. That's what the goal is, guys. It's right in front of our faces. It's right in front of our faces. The last thing I want to end on very briefly is a story, and it can be very, very brief as we close out here. Charlie Kirk, more than 20 suspected Tren de Aragua gang members have been arrested after taking over the Gateway Hotel in downtown El Paso. The arrests come after Greg Abbott designated the Venezuelan gang a terrorist organization. How many times are we going to see this, guys? And look, this is what I want to say about this. You cannot sit back. And I was a victim of this mindset for a long time myself. But we cannot sit back and just wait and just trust and hope that this is not going to come to our city, guys, because this could be your town. I mean, Springfield, Ohio, I'm in Ohio, and I know where Springfield is, and it's honestly in the middle of nowhere. Like, that town, any town can get hit with this wave of migrant crime. All right? So my message to you is this. Number one, pick up your Bible. Number two, protect and defend your family and prepare. You know, we are coming up on some very strange, very uncertain times, and I have a gut feeling, and so do many of my friends and acquaintances. Something just does not seem right, and it feels like something's changing, guys. Spiritually, politically, globally, something is shifting right now, and it's I don't think it's a good shift. And so we all need to be prepared and do practical things to get ready for whatever might be coming, and really just pray that God will have his hand on our country and protect us and give us wisdom. But there are practical things you can do to prepare, right? 3 months of food and water, defend your home, make sure you have the ability to defend yourself. These are the things that we need to be doing right now. So you can't sit back and wait, guys. Such a consequential election, 35 days away. Let me know what you guys think about these stories. CCP, Walz, Bill Gates wanting to take away your freedom of speech. These are big stories. Donald Trump responding to the hurricane. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Is Donald Trump going to win this election? Is Tim Walz implicated in the CCP controversy? Will J.D. Vance win the debate tomorrow night? Let us know your comments down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in to Saving the Republic tonight. Like I said, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to Grab Your Gear. Check out all of our other content, Grab Your Gear Network on Instagram and TikTok. So much good stuff coming out. We just put out a piece on Springfield with a new documentary posted live. Make sure you go check it out. But with all that being said, I will see you all in the next show Wednesday. Take care.